You know, it's so easy to think of the ground beneath our feet as, well, just ground, right? But what if I told you it's not just some flat, static surface? It's actually this incredible, dynamic stage, constantly being shaped and reshaped. And it sets the scene for, well, for all of life.
These physical features of our planet, the ones we call landforms, are sculpted over millions and millions of years by these just immense geological forces. And it's not just rock. These mountains, valleys, and plains have this deep, totally unbreakable connection with our environment and with every living thing on Earth, including us.
So, that really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How do these magnificent landscapes actually shape our world and, in turn, our own lives? It's this amazing question that takes geology and connects it right to our human story.
Okay, so to get to the bottom of that, we first need to get to know the main characters on this stage, right? So let's dive in and explore the major categories of landforms that really define our planet's surface.
And what's so cool is that all of this complexity, you can actually simplify it quite a bit. Broadly speaking, we can break down the Earth's entire surface into just three major types of landforms. You've got your towering mountains, your high, flat plateaus, and of course the sprawling plains where a ton of us live. It really just comes down to two things, their elevation and their shape. All right, let's kick things off with the most dramatic of the bunch. We're heading way up high into the great spires of the Earth. We're talking about mountains.
So, what exactly makes a mountain a mountain? Well, it's all about that classic profile, right? You've got a broad base, these super steep slopes that just shoot up dramatically, and then that narrow, pointed summit that's reaching for the sky. It's that sharp contrast, that relief, that makes them feel so huge and imposing.
Okay, now take a look at this number, 8,849 meters. Just let that sink in for a second. What incredible, colossal feature on our planet do you think that represents? That is the absolutely staggering height of Mount Everest, the highest peak on our planet. But you know, it's so much more than just a number. For the Tibetan people, it's Chomolungma, which means Mother Goddess of the World. A name like that just says so much about the deep spiritual connection that we humans have with these giants.
And Everest is definitely not alone up there. Mountains are usually grouped together in these massive ranges that are kind of like the planet's spine. I mean, just think of the Himalayas in Asia or the Andes in South America. We're not just talking about a few peaks here. These are colossal, interconnected systems that stretch for thousands of kilometers and literally shape entire continents. But here's the thing, not all mountains look the same. And that difference, well, it tells a story about time itself. On one hand, you have young, sharp, jagged peaks, like Everest, which are actually still being pushed upwards. And then you have these older, much more rounded mountains, like Unamudi in South India, that have been weathered and smoothed down by millions of years of erosion. It's like seeing geology in action. And you might think these places are barren, but they are absolutely bursting with life. You'll find these incredible montane forests filled with pines, firs, spruce, and deodar trees. And the animals, wow, they're uniquely adapted to these heights. We're talking golden eagles, the super elusive snow leopard, the sure-footed Himalayan tahr, and of course, the incredibly hardy yak. And humans, well, we've also found some pretty ingenious ways to thrive up here. People literally carve terraces into these super steep hillsides so they can farm. They herd animals across rugged pastures. And today, whole economies are built around tourism, drawing people in with the sheer beauty and the promise of adventure. You know, this deep sense of reverence for mountains, it's nothing new. We're talking over 1,500 years ago. The great poet Kalidasa described the Himalayas as a living god that measures the earth. I mean, what a beautiful thought. It just perfectly captures the awe these incredible peaks have always inspired in us. But living among the peaks isn't all breathtaking views and spiritual inspiration. There's a whole other side to this story, and it's one of immense, and I mean immense, natural challenges.
Because life up here means you're constantly facing these sudden, incredibly powerful dangers. An avalanche can literally bury a village in seconds. A landslide can just wipe out roads and homes. You've got flash floods, cloudbursts, heavy snowfall. These aren't rare events. They are the constant, formidable forces that really shape what it means to live in the high ground.
Okay, so from the sharp peaks, let's shift gears and turn to a totally different kind of high ground, the vast, elevated flatlands of our planet.
So what is a plateau? Well, the easiest way to think about it is like a mountain that's had its top sliced clean off. It's a landform that rises up,
often sharply, from the land around it, but it has this more or less flat surface on top. Yeah, you can really just think of them as giant natural tabletops.
And when I say giant, I mean they can be absolutely massive. Just take the Tibetan Plateau. It's the largest and highest in the entire world, which is why it has that perfect nickname, the roof of the world. Its average altitude is 4,500 meters. To put that in perspective, that's higher than a lot of actual mountain peaks in other parts of the world. It's incredible.
All right, so we've journeyed from these jagged peaks all the way to these high plateaus. So what's the big takeaway here? What does it all mean? How does all of this actually connect back to you and me?
And this really brings us to the core idea of this whole explainer. Landforms, they aren't just passive scenery. They're not just some pretty backdrop for a photo. They are active, living participants in the story of life. They dictate our climates, they shape entire ecosystems, and they literally guide the course of human history.
Which leaves us with one final thought to chew on. Just look around you, wherever you are. Whether you live on a sprawling plain, a high plateau, or maybe in the shadow of a mountain range, how has that specific landform shaped your community, your way of life, and maybe, just maybe, how has it shaped you?